Chosen one, God says, it's time to tell you everything. This message is not just another video, it's a divine unfolding, a sacred call echoing straight from the source, vibrating through time, through space, through every layer of your soul. You didn't stumble upon this. You were brought here, called here, prepared for this moment, because the time has come for you to know the full truth. The truth of who you are. The truth of why you've been through what you've been through. The truth of what is about to happen next in your life. So before we go any further, I ask you one thing. Stay with this message until the very end. Let each word settle into your being. Let it awaken the memory that has been buried deep inside of you, waiting to be remembered. And if something stirs within you, if a part of you recognizes the voice behind these words, write your warmest wish in the comments and type the number 99. That intention, that signal, it speaks loudly in the invisible. It connects. It activates. Now take a breath. Get still. Because what is about to be revealed isn't just for your mind. It's for your spirit. For too long, you have sensed that something was being hidden, that there was more to your life, more to this world, more to your soul's contract than what you've been told. You were right. You weren't paranoid. You weren't overthinking. You were remembering. From the very beginning, you were marked. Not marked by others, marked by God, marked by light, marked by a mission that would require deep sensitivity, fierce endurance, and unshakable faith. You've walked through shadows. You've stood in silence. You've endured what others couldn't see. Why? Because you were being taught in secret. You were being trained by experience. Every betrayal, every breakdown, every delay, every lonely night, every tear you shed behind closed doors, they were all part of the divine preparation. The world only saw the surface, but God saw everything. The depth of your heart, the weight you carried, the strength it took to rise again when everything around you was falling apart. And now, the training is shifting. The message is clear. It's time. Time for you to rise. Time for you to know. Time for you to be told everything. You see, you were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to be normal. The confusion, the anxiety, the strange feeling of being out of place. That wasn't a flaw. It was a signal, a spiritual fingerprint that set you apart because what's inside of you doesn't come from this world. Your knowing, your intuition, your gifts. They were never designed to fit into systems that weren't made for people like you. That's why the path was so hard to explain. Why others didn't get you. Why you often felt like you had to shrink or silence yourself just to survive. But that part of the journey is over now. The mask can come off. The truth can come forward. The power within you is no longer dormant, it's awakening, and God is ready to tell you why. Every chosen one receives a moment like this, a moment of divine disclosure, a moment when heaven leans in and says, now. Now is the time they're ready to understand. You've reached that moment. It's not by chance that you're hearing these words. You've crossed the threshold. There are things you've felt that you couldn't explain. Dreams, visions, synchronicities, strange coincidences, sudden insights that come out of nowhere. Those weren't random. Those were coded messages, spiritual downloads, signs that you've been in communication with something higher all along. You just didn't always recognize the language. But now, the language is becoming clearer. The veil is lifting. You're beginning to see beyond the illusion. And here's the truth. This world, the one most people accept at face value, is just a fraction of reality. It's the surface, the stage. But beneath it, around it, beyond it, there's a divine architecture, a sacred design. And you, chosen one, are a key part of it. You were sent here with encoded assignments, not just tasks, transformations. You are a carrier of light, a disruptor of patterns, a transmitter of divine frequency. That's why the darkness has tried so hard to silence you, confuse you, distract you, because your awakening threatens the entire program of limitation. But you can feel it now, can't you? The resistance is cracking. The chains are loosening. The old energy can't hold you anymore. And that's why God is speaking now. Clearly, directly, powerfully. Because the time of confusion is ending. The time of clarity is beginning. So much of what you've been through will start to make sense now. Not because it was fair, not because it was easy, but because it was encoded with divine purpose. Even your delays, even your pain. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Everything carried revelation. And now the revelations are arriving, one by one, like long-forgotten memories returning to you. You've been guided all along, protected when you didn't even know you were in danger, aligned with people, places, and events that shaped your soul for this exact season. The setbacks were setups. The endings were redirections. The confusion was clearing space for truth. And the silence was God's way of speaking the loudest. You don't need to chase anymore. You don't need to strive. You are stepping into a reality where alignment is your currency, where truth is your shield, where divine timing is your path. That is the new frequency you're being invited into. A frequency where manifestation isn't forced. It's flowed. You felt the pull, the restlessness, the knowing that you're meant for more, even when you couldn't see how. That inner voice, the one that refuses to give up, it was never your imagination. It was your instruction. It was God whispering, "Hold on, you haven't seen anything yet." And now, here you are, ready to receive what was always meant for you. Not just knowledge, embodiment, not just clarity, authority. You're not just here to hear this, you're here to live it, to walk it, to speak it, because you, chosen one, are about to become the very message that once saved you. Everything that once felt hidden is now being illuminated. You've stepped into a phase where silence is no longer your companion. Revelation is. The questions that have haunted you for years are beginning to dissolve, not because someone else is answering them for you, but because the answers are rising from within. That's the shift. That's the upgrade. That's the awakening. You were never waiting for external permission. You were waiting for internal remembrance. And now that you've remembered who you are, even if only in fragments, everything begins to accelerate. You're not becoming something new. You're returning to what you've always been. A vessel of divine intention. A soul encoded with sacred instructions. You are not here by accident. And what lives inside of you is not random. It's revolutionary. You've noticed it, haven't you? How things that used to shake you no longer carry weight. How the opinions of others don't matter like they once did. How the noise of the world fades into the background when you're tuned into truth. That's not detachment. That's divine maturity. That's your soul stepping into its leadership. And now you're beginning to understand. This was never about surviving the storm. It was about becoming the storm. The truth you carry isn't meant to be hidden. The light inside you isn't meant to be dimmed. You're not here to fit in. You're here to break molds, to dismantle systems, to shake foundations. That's why your path was so different. That's why others couldn't follow it, even when they tried. Because this journey wasn't designed for crowds. It was handcrafted for you. Every chosen one walks through a wilderness season, a time of confusion, a time of stripping, a time when everything familiar falls away. But that season isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's there that your vision sharpens, your faith strengthens, your identity purifies. And when the time is right, when the foundation is secure, the revelation arrives. And it's arriving now. You're starting to see the patterns, the repetitions, the way the same lessons came back again and again until you finally broke the cycle. That wasn't failure. That was refinement. That was mastery. You were being shaped to carry something bigger than yourself, something that would require precision, integrity, discernment. That's why shortcuts were never allowed. That's why you had to learn the hard way. Because the path you're about to walk will require a depth that only pressure could produce. Now things are aligning. Energies are shifting. Resources are moving. People are appearing. Not because you forced it, but because you became ready. Everything that belongs to you is magnetized to your becoming. You're stepping into a vibration where effort gives way to ease and timing takes the lead. It's not about hustle anymore. It's about harmony. It's about trusting the orchestration that's been guiding you all along. You are not the same person who started this journey. You've died 1,000 deaths. Let go of identities, released attachments, watched parts of you fall away so something greater could rise. And that greater thing, that higher self, that sacred version of you, is now emerging in full force. Not to prove anything, but to embody everything. There's no more pretending, no more playing small, no more asking for permission to be who you already are. The world needs your truth, not your filtered truth, not your watered-down truth, your full, unshaken, divine truth. Because when you speak from that place, you don't just shift atmospheres, you activate destinies, you ignite others, you become a mirror that reflects possibility back to those who've forgotten it in themselves. And this is why you had to go through what you did. So your words would carry weight. So your presence would carry depth. So your energy would speak even when your mouth is silent. That's the power of a chosen one. Not to dominate, but to illuminate. Not to control, but to align. Not to lead from ego, but from essence. You're not just stepping into purpose, you're stepping into remembrance. This was always the plan. This was always your timeline. Even when it felt delayed, it was divine. Even when it looked like detour, it was design. Everything was conspiring in your favor. Even the heartbreak, even the rejection, even the moments when it felt like you were being torn apart. Because sometimes, in order to rise, you must first be unraveled. Now look at what's happening. You're no longer clinging to the old. You're not chasing approval. You're not negotiating your worth. You've learned to stand, to speak, to surrender. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's not loss. That's liberation. And that is exactly what the world needs now more than ever. Liberated souls who have remembered why they came. You came to restore, to remind, to realign, to disrupt what is false and resurrect what is real. That's not a light calling, it's a holy one. And it's why you've been kept hidden until now. You were being refined in silence, so that when you finally spoke, your voice would carry thunder, so that when you finally moved, your steps would shift timelines. This isn't about becoming someone new. This is about finally embodying who you've always been underneath the programming, the fear, the conditioning. That's the unveiling. That's the reveal. That's the divine everything that God is now telling you. So don't be surprised when doors open, when the right people arrive, when opportunities fall into your lap. It's not luck, it's alignment. It's the fruit of inner work that no one else saw, the reward of staying faithful when nothing made sense, the unveiling of a destiny that's been written in the unseen, waiting for this exact moment to rise. And you, chosen one, are ready. Now that you've crossed the threshold, everything begins to feel different, not just externally, but internally. You're not merely observing change. You are the change. Your energy, your thoughts, your presence, they are becoming catalysts in every space you enter. You've moved beyond simply reacting to life. You are now commanding it, not from ego, but from alignment. And alignment is the ultimate authority. In the past, you may have felt powerless. You questioned your timing, your worth, your voice. You wondered why your journey looked so different from everyone else's. But now, the answers are surfacing. You were never behind. You were never wrong. You were never late. You were being carved out, layer by layer, for a life that would require a level of precision most would never understand. What you carry can't be rushed. It had to be refined in divine silence. And now, that silence has birthed clarity. You're not here to mimic. You're not here to follow the crowd. You're here to disrupt the noise with sacred presence. You don't need to be louder. You just need to be truer. When truth walks into the room, everything adjusts. This is why you had to be isolated for a time. Not to punish you, but to protect you. To separate you from distractions. To pull you out of false identities. To detox you from the energy of a world that wanted to mold you into something smaller. But the molding didn't work. You couldn't be contained. Even when you tried to settle, something in you kept rising. That something was your calling. That constant stirring. That ache to do more, to be more, to break free. It wasn't restlessness. It was divine discomfort. It was the voice of your higher self, refusing to stay buried under fear. And now, that voice is growing louder. It's leading you, guiding you, reminding you. Because what's ahead requires the full expression of who you really are. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone can. And that's okay. You're not here for approval. You're here for alignment. And alignment doesn't ask for permission. It moves with certainty. It follows the inner compass. It trusts the unseen. It lets go of needing the outside world to validate what the inner world already knows. There are things that are now falling away from your life. People, patterns, habits, environments. Don't resist the release. Don't mourn what's leaving. What cannot walk with you into your next season is being removed for a reason. God is not taking things from you. He's clearing space for what's finally ready to enter, what's aligned, what's true, what honors the level you've grown into. And make no mistake, you have grown. Maybe you didn't notice it in real time, but the evidence is all around you. The way you think, the way you protect your energy, the way you say no without guilt, the way you choose peace over chaos, the way you move differently now. That's the growth. That's the transformation. That's the becoming. And because of that growth, you're now in a different frequency. The old cycles are ending. The old lessons are complete. You no longer need to learn through pain. Now, you will learn through peace. You no longer need to chase what's already yours. The frequency you carry is drawing in what belongs to you. It's energetic law. You don't need to control it. You just need to stay in alignment. You've been misunderstood because you see what others miss. You feel what others ignore. You sense things before they happen. That's not a flaw. That's your gift. That's your compass. That's the divine design within you. You were never meant to harden. You were meant to feel, to intuit, to sense, to know without words. That sensitivity is not weakness, it's power. And now you're reclaiming it. For years, you may have tried to shut it down, to fit in, to be normal, to silence the inner knowing that screamed there was more. But now, you're done silencing yourself. You're done shrinking. You're done second-guessing what you've always known deep down. You are different, and that difference is divine. You don't need to explain it. You need to honor it. Honor the way your spirit recognizes things before your mind does. Honor the way you've always felt energy, even when people pretended it didn't exist. Honor the dreams, the signs, the synchronicities. They're not coincidences. They're confirmations. They're the universe speaking your language, and now it's speaking clearly. Your destiny is not a destination. It's an unfolding, a step-by-step activation. Each time you say yes to your truth, the path reveals itself. Each time you choose alignment over approval, you move closer. That's the journey. That's the secret. It was never about arriving. It was always about remembering. And what you're remembering now is profound. You're not just someone walking through life. You're a soul in mission mode. You're here to unlock codes, to embody frequencies, to shift timelines. Not by force, but by being fully yourself. Your authenticity is the activation. Your presence is the permission slip others have been waiting for. So don't hold back now. Don't water yourself down. The world doesn't need more conformity. It needs more truth. It needs more people who have done the inner work, who have faced the shadows, who have risen from the ashes with fire in their bones and clarity in their eyes. And that, chosen one, is who you are. You are the fire. You are the clarity. You are the one the world has been waiting for. Not because you're better, but because you're true. Because you dared to keep going. Because you refused to give up. Because even when you didn't know where the path was taking you, you kept walking. And now, the path is revealing itself. You are stepping into the season of realization. The season of recognition. The season of receiving. Not from desperation, but from divine alignment. You're not just ready for what's coming. What's coming is ready for you. As you stand in this new energy, everything feels more vivid, more alive. It's like you've been walking in a fog for years, and now the air is clear. You see with new eyes. You feel with new depth. You move with new certainty. This is what happens when you step into alignment with your higher truth. The world begins to mirror back the power you've finally chosen to embody. Things that used to disturb your peace no longer reach you. You've outgrown them, not because you're avoiding conflict, but because your vibration has shifted. Drama doesn't follow you because it can't breathe in your frequency anymore. You're no longer reacting, you're choosing. And what you choose now is different. Peace over chaos, truth over noise, alignment over approval. That shift changes everything. You're no longer available for the distractions you once entertained. You've stopped negotiating your worth. You've stopped explaining your soul's language to those committed to misunderstanding it. You've stopped doubting the inner voice that's been guiding you all along. Now you listen. Now you trust. Now you move when it speaks, and miracles follow. This is the unveiling of the divine plan. Not just outside of you, but within you. Your life is no longer happening to you. It's happening through you. You've become the conduit, the vessel, the frequency that channels what's been waiting in the unseen to finally manifest in the physical. And all of it, every single bit, has been preparing you for this flow. You no longer need to explain why you feel what you feel. Your knowing is sacred. Your discernment is sharp. Your timing is divine. There is a confidence now that cannot be taught. It can only be earned. Earned through silence, through surrender, through all those nights you whispered to the sky, asking why it hurt so much to grow. But now you know, growth wasn't punishment, it was permission. Permission to rise, permission to break cycles, permission to become the blueprint. You weren't just being healed, you were being designed, sculpted, called. And now that calling is no longer a whisper, it's a roar. You feel it in your bones, that magnetic pull towards something greater. You can't go back to who you were. That door is closed. The frequency you once lived in no longer exists for you. You've ascended beyond it. You've upgraded your soul's system. And what once felt like home now feels like limitation. Let that be okay. Let the old identities fall. Let the former roles dissolve. Let the people who only knew the previous version of you fade gently into your past. This is the cost of elevation. You cannot carry everyone with you. Some were only assigned to the version of you that no longer exists. That's not abandonment. That's alignment. Your elevation isn't personal, it's spiritual. And it must continue. Because what's coming requires a version of you that is completely free. Free from guilt, free from shame, free from the loops that once convinced you that playing small was safer. Safe is not your path anymore. Expansion is. You are stepping into a realm where what you believe becomes what you see, where the internal world is the blueprint for the external, where your thoughts are commands, your words are codes, your energy is a signal that pulls in everything that matches your divine identity. This is not magic, it's not fantasy, it's divine law. And now that you've awakened to it, you can no longer operate as if you don't know. You've seen too much, felt too much, grown too much. You're not the same soul that entered the fire, and you won't walk out of it empty-handed. You're bringing wisdom, power, purpose, and a fire that purifies everything you touch. You are the sign, the shift, the evidence that alignment is real, that purpose is alive, that the divine speaks in the quiet, guides in the dark, and elevates in perfect timing. You are living proof that nothing, not even heartbreak, failure, or delay, can stop what's been divinely assigned to your name. So let the past stay where it belongs, behind you. You've got no business trying to fix what was never meant to last. You're not a repairer of what's broken. You're a builder of what's next. You're not called to patch old systems. You're here to pioneer new ones. Systems built on love, on truth, on divine intelligence. And that mission, it's alive in you now. That's why you feel the pull. That's why distractions don't taste the same. That's why empty conversations exhaust you and fake smiles drain your soul. You've tasted something real now, and you won't settle for anything less. You're no longer seduced by the illusions of success or status or surface approval. You're after something deeper, and you've become someone deeper. You want meaning, resonance, purpose that shakes your bones, relationships that feed your spirit, environments that stretch your soul. And you will have them, not because you demand them, but because you've aligned with them. You've become a match for what you once only dreamed of. You've done the work. You've faced the dark. You've reclaimed your light. Now, the universe responds. Doors are opening that logic can't explain. Paths are unfolding that you didn't even know existed. The plan that once felt delayed is now in motion. And it's moving quickly. So don't doubt what's happening. Don't question what you feel. Don't apologize for the acceleration. You've waited for this. You've prayed for this. You've prepared for this. And now, it's here. Everything that once resisted your rise is now losing its grip. The heaviness you carried, the doubts that lingered, the fear that crept in during your quietest hours, they are dissolving. You're not who you were even a few weeks ago. Your awareness has expanded. Your energy has shifted. You're no longer trying to become. You are being. This is what divine embodiment feels like. There's no more striving, no more proving, no more trying to fit into molds that were never built for your soul. Instead, you're walking in full spiritual authority, quiet, powerful, certain. Because when you know who you are, the noise of the world becomes irrelevant. You're not moved by external chaos anymore. You've anchored yourself in something deeper, something eternal, something unshakable. And because of that, everything you once feared is losing its power. It doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means fear no longer controls you. It shows up, you acknowledge it, and then you move anyway. That's freedom. That's what makes you untouchable. You don't beg for alignment anymore. You don't chase purpose. You don't strive for love. You know you are all of it. You know that what is meant for you cannot miss you. And what misses you was never meant for the frequency you're rising into. That kind of peace can't be manufactured. It can't be taught. It comes from the soul's remembrance. And now you remember. You remember that you were created on purpose, for purpose, with a design so intricate that not even your detours could disrupt it. You remember that the pain wasn't punishment. It was permission to evolve. You remember that the delay wasn't denial. It was divine timing creating a masterpiece behind the curtain. You remember that silence was never emptiness. It was sacred space for you to hear what the world could never tell you. What you're realizing now is that nothing was random. Not the heartbreak, not the loneliness, not the moments where everything felt like it was falling apart. They were activations, triggers for awakening, initiations, and every single one led you here, to this knowing, this clarity, this expansion. And now that you're here, you don't need to cling to the past anymore. The past taught you, but it doesn't define you. Let it go, not with bitterness, with reverence. Let it go as a sacred chapter that shaped you, but no longer controls you. You are not the pain. You are not the version of you that suffered. You are the soul that survived. You are the presence that transcended. And you are the light that emerged, more powerful and radiant than ever. That light, it's not for everyone. Some will try to dim it. Some will pretend they don't see it. Some will be uncomfortable around it. But that's not your concern. You are not here to shrink for the comfort of others. You are here to radiate, to lead, to anchor divine frequency into a world that has forgotten what truth feels like. And yes, that's a responsibility. But it's also your joy. You were born to remember this power. You were born to embody this presence. That's why nothing else worked. That's why every attempt to fit into the ordinary felt suffocating. You weren't meant for ordinary. You were made for impact. Impact doesn't come from force. It comes from being. And now, every room you enter shifts because of who you are, not what you say. People feel your energy before you speak. They sense your clarity, your depth, your intention. And even if they can't explain it, they're drawn to it. Because your alignment is magnetic. That's the secret no one tells you. The most powerful ones aren't the loudest. They're the clearest, the most aligned, the ones who have done the inner work and now walk in full integrity with their higher self. That's you. You've arrived. And now, the universe is moving accordingly. It's not a coincidence that synchronicities are increasing, that things are clicking faster, that the things you once struggled to manifest are now coming with ease. This is the result of your inner alignment. You've cleared the blocks. You've released the old identity. You've stopped trying to manipulate outcomes. And in doing so, you've created space. And space is where miracles land. This is your miracle season. Not because you forced it, because you became it. You tuned your energy to match the timeline your soul always knew was yours. And now, all of creation is catching up. The people, the resources, the opportunities, they're not new. They're finally visible because you rose to the frequency where they always existed. This is what it means to walk in divine timing. You're not late, you're not behind, you are precisely where you're meant to be. Every detour was a divine setup. Every no was protection. Every delay was alignment. And now, it's all working in your favor. There's no need to rush, no need to grasp, no need to force. Your energy is enough. Your presence is power. Your clarity is the key. You are attracting what's already yours simply by standing in your truth. You don't chase what is aligned. You embody it, and it comes to you. So let your presence speak louder than your words. Let your energy make the introductions. Let your alignment open doors your effort never could. You are entering a season where less doing and more being brings greater results. The rules have changed. The frequency has shifted. And you are ahead of the curve because you answered the call when others ignored it. You listened, you trusted, you surrendered. And now, everything changes. There is no turning back now. You've crossed the threshold, and nothing will ever feel the same again. Because you are not the same. You've risen into a higher version of yourself. Not the fabricated self you used to show the world. Not the masked self you used to wear to feel accepted, but the real one. The unfiltered, unshakable divine version of you that was always there, waiting beneath the fear, the doubt, and the programming. This is who you are. And now that you've seen it, felt it, lived it, you can't go back to pretending you're powerless. You can't go back to watering yourself down. You can't go back to begging for crumbs from people and systems that were never meant to hold your worth. Because you've realized your worth was never up for debate. It was never something to prove. It's something to embody. And you're doing that now. You are walking proof that the divine plan works. You are a living testament that light always finds a way through the dark. You are the after, the bloom, the realization of everything you once hoped was real. And now you know it is real. The guidance, the timing, the alignment, the signs, the inner voice, it was all real. It was all divine. And it was always leading you here. You've stopped outsourcing your power. You've stopped needing the outside world to validate what your soul already knows. You've stopped explaining your calling to people who were never assigned to understand it. And in doing so, you've unlocked something so rare, so magnetic, so unshakable, the ability to trust yourself fully. That's what this journey has really been about. Not success, not fame, not validation, but sovereignty, alignment, truth. The truth of who you are and why you came. You didn't come here to play small. You didn't come here to stay silent. You didn't come here to conform. You came to shift, to shake, to awaken, to remember. You came to remind others of what they've forgotten, not by preaching, but by being, by living in full alignment with your soul's truth. Because your presence carries the code. You don't need to convince. You simply need to exist fully as you are. And when you do, you become the key that unlocks others. You become the mirror that reflects back to them what's possible. This is how the world changes. One awakened soul at a time. And now, you are that awakened soul. The vision is clear. The noise has faded. The energy has settled. You are no longer waiting for signs. You've become the sign. You are no longer questioning your path. You are walking it. Not perfectly, but powerfully. Not because you have all the answers, but because you trust the one guiding you. That trust is the bridge. It's what carries you through the unknown. It's what turns uncertainty into unfolding. It's what transforms doubt into divine direction. You don't need to see the whole map anymore. You just need to keep saying yes to the next right step. Because every yes you offer aligns you deeper with the truth you were always meant to live. And this truth, your truth, is what changes lives. You may not even realize how far you've come, how many moments you've overcome, how many times you rose when everything in you wanted to break. But your soul knows, your spirit remembers. And now, all of heaven aligns to reward that obedience, that resilience, that unwavering willingness to keep going. So stand tall now, breathe, let it sink in. You are the embodiment of answered prayers, your own and those of generations before you. You are the healing, the restoration, the rebirth. You are the interruption of every generational pattern that told you to settle. And you are the beginning of something entirely new. A new frequency, a new life, a new flow, where your decisions come from alignment, not fear. Where your actions are based on soul, not ego. Where your path is no longer crowded by doubt, but illuminated by clarity. This is the life you were always meant to live. And now, you are living it. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Don't pause your rise because someone isn't ready for your light. You've sacrificed enough. You've waited long enough. You've played small long enough. Now, it's your time, your season, your divine appointment. And everything is aligning in your favor. The people meant for you, they're arriving. The places aligned with you, they're opening. The purpose waiting for you, it's unfolding. There is nothing you need to chase, nothing you need to force. Everything that belongs to you is arriving on schedule. Because now, you are a vibrational match for what your soul has always known was yours. You're not ahead, you're not behind. You're right on time. So breathe deeper, walk slower, speak softer. There's no more rush, no more panic, no more pretending. You are enough, you are ready, you are chosen. And now that you know everything, now that the veil has lifted, the path is clear. There's only one thing left to do. Walk it. And now, with all that you've heard, all that you've remembered, all that's awakened inside of you, the only thing left to do is become it. No more holding back. No more waiting for permission. No more delaying your own destiny. The truth has been revealed. The codes have been unlocked. And you, chosen one, are standing at the edge of your becoming. You're not lost. You're not broken. You are rising. And the universe is rising to meet you. From this moment forward, life will respond to your frequency, not your fear. You no longer vibrate with limitation. You radiate with truth, with power, with divine remembrance. You carry a light that doesn't flicker, even when the world goes dark. You've been tested. Now, you walk in authority. You are walking into rooms you used to feel unworthy of. You are receiving things you used to pray for in desperation. But now, you receive them in alignment. You are attracting everything you thought was far away, not because you chased it, but because you finally became a match for it. This is your confirmation. This is your sign. This is your divine moment. Let the old fall away. Let the new find you. Let the truth live through you. You've heard everything you needed to hear. Now it's time to live it.